Stay with us.
Welcome back. It's still your perfect morning starter right here on Channels Television. And the first leg of our conversation will be focusing on Rivers State, particularly coming on the heels of that meeting of the suspended governor, Fubara, with Mr. President Bola Tinubu. Of course, prior to that time, as we referred to earlier, there had been reports, some say mostly unconfirmed, that the suspended governor had met with Mr. President outside the country, and he has in fact also met with his former boss, former governor Nyesom Wike. So it's 3 months after the declaration, nearly now, of a state of emergency in Rivers State. How close are we to the resolution of that state of emergency? Because in the approval of the National Assembly, there was a clause to the effect that it can be reviewed before the initial 6 months. So what are the other meetings going on behind the scene? This morning, let's have this conversation. And we have joining us right here in our Lagos studio, Professor Okaba Benjamin. He's the president, Ijaw Nation, and he's here, as I said, in our Lagos studio. Good morning, Professor Okaba. Thank you so much for coming through, for being early, and for waiting.
Thank you very much for having me. Actually, the president of Ijaw National Congress worldwide.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Okay. President, Ijaw National Congress worldwide.
Thank you very
so
much.
One of the sticking points, of this whole scenario is what some would say, the seeming inconsistency of the suspended governor of Rivers State, because we had seen that there were reports that he had met with his predecessor and former boss, Nyesom Wike, where he was said to have been genuflecting and pleading. And then we heard him also saying on another platform that his mind has left there. Do you think I want to return? Quoting him now. Where does this all lead after that, because he has met with Mr. President again?
Okay. I don't see any element of inconsistency in all of that. When a man says, my mind has even left there, is to display the fact that he's not desperate. It's unlike other politicians that will want to do everything. And for us, we consider that as a purely political statement. He's not there by his own will and interest. He has to continue as governor to serve as his term because Rivers people voted for him and they still need him. So it is not a decision that is left for him alone, and that is our way, because we have interacted with him after those statements were made and the clear explanations that were given. That I'm not desperate. It's not a do or die affair. If tomorrow, by the will of God, I'm no longer governor, I will not kill anybody. Everyone will not fall. That is the clear demonstration of allowing God to take over everything. Now, talking about the meetings, we actually expected them. The one in London, the one in Lagos, and several others. In fact, the president has done so much by way of sending emissaries to talk to both parties to ensure that peace returns, normalcy returns to Rivers State and to our democracy. He has done a lot, and he has also reached out to so many persons, including myself, because as president of Ijaw National Congress, we were not happy with the declaration of the state of emergency. We saw it as unnecessary, unconstitutional, unlawful, and a dent on the democratic credentials of Mr. President. We felt the allegations against Fubara were unfounded. I also felt he was giving tacit support to one particular character, and it was not actually fair to Fubara. But again, we had a lot of explanations that all that the president did was in the interest of Rivers State, though we doubted all of that. But again, it is possible the president saw what we did not see. And when he also now reached out to people, leaders of Ijaw Nation, to say, please, just give me some trust. We decided to, okay, let's give him a benefit of doubt. And to be very frank, we have seen from his body language and some utterances and engagement that ultimately it's about prioritizing peace and development of Rivers State. One interesting component of it is that this 3 months or thereabout period has actually exposed a lot. So many hypotheses have been put to test as to one, who is the leader of Rivers State. If we have election in 2027, who will take charge? Who are the Rivers people loyal to? Then issues of betrayal, loyalty, backstabbing, irresponsibility of some persons and all that. Many lies that were told that even necessitated, in quote, the imposition of the state of emergency have been so cleared. And,
so who is the leader in Rivers State now?
The governor is the leader.
The governor is the leader?
Yes, he is the leader of Rivers State.
So do you see anything to the...
political leader?
Yeah, political leader. Of Rivers State. He is.
All right. So do you see anything to the permutations that he may be planning to defect to the APC?
No, what is wrong about that? There's nothing wrong about that. Because if a former vice presidential candidate of a party defects...
Yeah, there's nothing wrong, but you need to look at the optics. So the optics could be that he was coerced, and this was part of the... I'm just saying optics.
Okay, yes, optics, okay.
Yes, he was coerced into... I'm twisted in that sense, that this was the only way out, because we've heard all kinds of things, you know. One of the arguments has always been, when somebody, quote and unquote, let me use a political term, I made you, in that sense. Yes. Nobody can debate to the effect the role Nyesom Wike played. I don't think that's debatable.
No, not at all.
And so the issue of leadership becomes contentious. By the party's laws and all of that, of course, the governor is in that sense. So I know that there's also that debate as to who is really the active leader, but that's not even where I'm going to. Yeah. Let's talk about that optics of if he chooses to now join the APC, which he has a right to, nothing stops him. Wouldn't that send you talked about denting the democratic credentials of the president. Isn't that going to further dent? Because it looks like this is the only way, this was one of the ways or the condition to have brought in peace into the state.
You know, at this point, we must be realistic. We must have an understanding of the character of the Nigerian politics. I summarized this in a lecture I gave recently. We operate a malutocracy. A malutocracy.
What does that mean?
It means that just like you lead malus, you say, move this way and you move it. We don't have political parties anymore in the sense of it. We have platforms for political contestation.
But if you say this, why then are you holding the position also that there is nothing wrong with the governor defecting to the APC?
No, that is the point I'm making, right? We don't have platforms. We don't have political parties. Sorry, we don't have political parties. What we have is just some kind of platforms that are put together for people to transmit or escalate from one position to the other. So if we have state governors, formal presidential, vice presidential candidates of parties, just moving on, to the extent that even one of the governors even said, if you don't move with me, I will sack you. So there are no ideological events and all that. I had a conversation with a former state party chairman, and I asked him, you've also moved from PDP to this? He said, yes. Okay, what is the first item in Schedule this of your party? He said he doesn't know. He does not even have a copy of the party. So what I'm trying to say is that in the interest of peace, Fubara made a statement that he would do anything to bring back peace in the state. And I don't see it as, Nigerians don't see it as a serious issue that people are defecting, or maybe tomorrow, even Tinubu himself, if he decides to defect to PDP, because that he finds that as a veritable platform for him to contest and all that. It's not a serious matter.
Isn't that worrying for you as an intellectual, as a scholar,
yes,
as a Nigerian? What kind of society are we building when I don't think all of them put together? I will check that figure. I don't think there are more than 30,000. President, governors, all their commissioners, ministers, local government chairmen, councillors, I don't think there are more than 30,000. If we have this quote-unquote contraption of platforms where people can just walk in and out, what kind of society are we building? Doesn't that bother you? This is beyond the conversation of Fubara and
No, that is exactly why I coined the word. That is worrisome, right? It's very, very worrisome. But again, we must also understand the reality, why we are pursuing the ideal. The ideal that we should have political parties that are built on conviction, on ideologies, and we are ready to define. We had such at the First and Second Republic. In fact, political parties even transcended into becoming movements. We have Awoism, right? We have Zikism, you know, that people, if round down to the villages, were proud to belong. But today, what are you to hold on to, right? That is where we are. That is how we are so degenerated. And that is why loyalty is not to the state. Loyalty is not to development. Loyalty is not to the people. Loyalty is to the person that provides the platform.
Right.
That is how bad it is. So, and in that situation, when I say if Fubara decides to move to APC, right, I don't see that as an issue in the scenario we find ourselves.
Okay.
But normally we'll have asked the question, why are you moving? We have the case of somebody who has been in the House of Representatives for about 28 years. It's also defected. 28 years in a party, in the House of Reps, from the onset, and you're also defecting to APC. For what?
So it looks like the APC is increasingly looking like the PDP, because it looks like home. If I leave the PDP to the APC, I still see the faces that will remain the PDP anyway.
Of course.
So I'm going there. But the question is, when you now get there, what will he meet? How will he function there? Because he will still meet the FCT minister there in one way or the other. Right? I mean, let's be factual.
Yes,
you will still meet him there one way or the other. The structure in the state of the APC, there is that one that is loyal to the FCT minister. In the state, that is. So when people look at the optics and they look at the permutation and say, it's going to be tough. It's like it's between the devil and the deep blue sea. Decision has to be made. But is that really the best decision for you?
There are things I cannot say make public. But because I've been involved in the dynamics of engaging both APC leaders, PDP leaders and all that, I think it's in his best interest. I will not say give the reason, but it is the interest of Fubara and the state. Fubara needs protection from some persons, and those persons must also be very powerful. As powerful as I don't know how to classify the other person, as powerful as whoever.
As the principalities and powers,
yes. He also needs
protection for his life?
Yes. Not just his life, his office. He needs people to protect his office. He needs people to be loyal to. Like I said earlier, it's about personalities. You have people, whether rightly or wrongly, claim to be close to some principalities and powers. And they say, well, if you want us to deal with this individual, come join us. We had your little power to my big power. Right?
I hope they're not lying to him.
No, the question is that everything is risky. And if you don't take, it's risky not to take risk.
Is it also risky to resign?
It's risky to also resign. Because if he resigns today, the totality of his political career is gone. People will say he has shaken out. He had made effort to resign early in the administration. There at some point he actually said, look, I want to resign. These are not the things I actually plan to do. And those in power called him and said, no, we brought you in for a particular purpose. You don't resign. It's not about you. It's no longer about you, Fubara. It's about Rivers people. It's about the interest of Ijaw people. Still, you remain. You understand that? So, if he resigns, we say he has shaken up. And tomorrow, nobody will take him serious. Because the political atmosphere in this country is dirty.
But hold on, Jeffrey.
Yes.
The more important question now is, do Rivers people want a governor whose heart is not in the job? That's on the one hand. On the other hand, you said the defection is not, there's nothing wrong, or it's the ideal way to go under the circumstances, or the biggest sacrifice that can be made, so to speak. But is that the political direction that the Rivers people also want to go at this point in time?
The Rivers, what the Rivers people want, by any means, is that their governor returns.
Whether it's in the APC or in the PDP?
Well, that is immaterial. Because party differences don't matter anymore in this country. That is why people could flex from one party to the other and come back and all that. If you can categorize persons who have actually migrated to and fro 3-4 parties. What is important that for Rivers people, for Ijaw people, I can speak for Ijaw people, is that we have a governor of Ijaw extraction, and let it continue and do its job. We also let it come back, and that is why you saw the demonstration of the Rivers women, right, in solidarity of similarly Fubara, right, all to show that come back, because the reason for the imposition of the state of emergency kind of to a lot of people, right, in fact, has not shown any, there was no rationale for that. Because you talk about the peace, River State is peaceful. There were some elements of provocation. Those who orchestrated all of this said some people claim that if this happened, they're going to blow pipeline and all that. Right. And when there were some cases of infrastructure invasion, we, the Ijaw people, said, no, go do thorough investigation. And I think it was owned up that that was a coincidence, kind of. And again, let me just make this point. There are persons who don't want the state of emergency to be lifted, kind of. There are some persons who want to paint the picture that Fubara must not return for so many reasons. In fact, at some point, when certain things were not working the way they wanted, because they expected sporadic destruction of pipeline and all that. And we spoke to our people. This is a trap. It's a boo-boo trap. In the first place, we are gone beyond the era of busting of pipelines and all that. If we want to seek self-determination, you can do that without even raising a gun, a bullet. With a pen, you can have self-determination. And again, destroying it's about destroying our own environment. Yes. So what we say is that at times we're even made to have this escalate into Bayelsa State. You remember, I remember all of that and all that. And, we said, no, this will not happen.
Prof, I'm happy that the rhetoric is toning down.
Yes.
All the fireworks we've seen seem to be, for me, we have a position on whatever that has to do with the Constitution.
Yes.
Let the Supreme Court do their work. Yeah. We hope they do their work to the best of their ability. However, the most important thing is to bring back peace. But there's a question that has always been on my mind.
Okay. 2
questions, but I'll ask one because of time. Is the Ijaw nation concerned about their political position in the state of affairs, especially in leadership of all the Ijaw states, or all the states where we have Ijaws?
Yes.
Melford Okilo did not complete his tenure as, of course, it was one term because of military coup.
Yeah.
Ada George, you remember that story as well. And now, I think the first Ijaw man that completed a 2-term, 8 years, for 4 years, in the history of Ijaw nation is Seriake Dixon.
Yeah.
The second is going to be Doye Diri. What is it with Ijaw people and the inability to be able to complete a term? 2 terms. Have you sat down to look at it, Prof?
Yes, of course. We've taken a curious evaluation of all of that. And that was why, in the case of Sirake Dixon, we're very conscious and deliberate that he has to complete his tenure. There are so many external and internal factors responsible for the issues you just mentioned. But again, we decided to deal with the internal, believing that if we are cohesive, right, those external factors will not come in. That is the point. Then, also, you need to also recall that that for over 24 years, thereabout, a Ijaw man or somebody from the riverine never tested the governorship of Rivers State, you know, for some reasons. And,
since 1999.
Yes. So, that is why every right-thinking Ijaw person is standing behind Fubara. That zinc has to be broken.
So is it now time to win off the state of emergency? Do you think now would be a good time?
Yes. No, in fact, like I said, the state of emergency was actually not necessary in the first place. So we've tried it for 3 months, and we've seen that instead of improving on the state of affairs of Rivers State, things are degenerating.
But some would say that we've not seen the brickbats, the drums of war, all of those heated atmosphere. We've not seen that.
No, let me tell you, I'm the president of Ijaw National Congress, and for the reactions of Ijaw people, right, I'm the commanding officer, right? And I said right from the beginning that there were some promptings that if we do this, they will blow pipelines. If they do this, we are going to do this. We calculated that these things are already planned. Do we fall into them? And we said no. We said no, we won't fall into them. And particularly because I said there will be consequences. I made those statements. If this happens, there will be consequences. And people were leveraging on that statement to put in place. In fact, there were occasions where a fellow Ijaw man said I should be arrested because I was trying to instigate this and all that. Now, but we felt no. Let us deal with it, utilizing the mechanism of constructive engagement, and we did. We deployed that. Do you get the point?
Yeah, so, I do. So you're basically saying that you have decided to hold off and not play into that trap.
Yes.
So speak to us about then the condition for lifting the state of emergency. I know there are different permutations. You've spoken to that. Some of them you've not shared because they're private conversations. Yes. So should it be first Governor Fubara joins the APC and then we lift the state of emergency so you return to governor, or let's lift the state of emergency first and then you can now join the APC afterwards?
In addition, the issue of second term.
Yeah. Is that off the table too?
For us, I don't know what condition should come first. If he decides to join the APC today and the state of emergency is lifted, good. If the state of emergency is lifted and he returns and joins the APC, it's also good. The ultimate is that it gets back to office.
Before June 12th?
Before June 12th.
Is that the plan?
Yes.
To get him back to office before June 12th?
That is our expectation. In fact, we are not, I will not say we are urging Mr. President. We also know that the president knows what to do. It's not like we are urging him. The president will do the right thing. Yes. And we also know that people are even fighting the president for this is disposition. Some persons have even come out publicly to say that if their permission were actually sought before that, they will have rejected the state of emergency offer. You understand the point? So they are not happy that this, and that is why in recent times you can see some desperate efforts that are put in place to blackmail, to show that the man is a betrayal, is an incompetent person. But Mr. President has a responsibility over all Nigerians to separate personal idiosyncrasies and the good of the state. he has seen President has learned a lot. So also Fubara has also learned a lot with these experiences, right? But Mr. President will do the needful by lawfully restoring peace and harmony and development in Rivers State. And that can only happen if very, very quickly he brings back Fubara.
And just to quickly ask, to confirm, is the suspended governor also reaching out to state assembly members? You know, that was one of the conditions of peace that the former governor gave.
They've been talking.
So he's not going to have a problem with the state assembly when he returns to office?
Of course, they are the same people. They are the same people. And we believe that without reaching out to them, right, there will be a problem.
Prof, at the end of the day, I think it feels like we will never know what the problem is.
No,
Prof, do you know what the problem is?
I know what the problem is.
Would you like to share?
I will
because
share,
Nigerians would like to know.
I will share part of it.
Okay, that's the problem.
No, okay, don't worry. I will tell you the much I know, right? Or I want to tell you. It is about state capture. It's about state capture. That is the problem. One individual thinks that he has done well, so well, and that he must remain in charge. And we have said no. The governor, by our political calculations and explanations, it is like a culture. Whoever becomes governor becomes the head of the place. Whoever becomes president becomes the leader of the party of the state.
All right.
Yes, you understand that.
So state capture is ambiguous. But
no, when I say
I'm not going to ask you to explain it.
State capture.
It's a continuing conversation. We must thank you at this point, Prof. We're totally out of time. But
we have templates anyway.
Productive.
We have templates.
Yes, it's been a productive conversation. Professor Okaba Benjamin is the president, Ijaw National Congress worldwide.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming through on this important conversation.
Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Amen. And you too, sir. So there's more to come on the program. Don't forget, we have that critical conversation on electoral reform, and there's also the security challenge, that border fence that is being proposed by the CDS. How fast will it come, and what will it take for it to come? Stay with us. We'll be right back.